So I really do think that donut might be a fucking psychopath. Even Carl's worried.
I get that you got to do what you got to do to get on the highlights, but hey, at least they found some stairs.
Yeah, and a giant flesh-made Pac-Man is guarding the stairs, so, there's that. And I don't think the group they found is going to be very much help.
Unless there's Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune. I think you might be right. It's still better than the Frank Q situation, though.
We will definitely get into that. So, will Carl and Donut get past the new boss and make it down the stairs in time?
Only one way to find out. Let's turn the page.
Welcome, crawlers, to chapters 18 through 25 of Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. You're listening to Book for Two. I'm Scott.
And I'm Genevieve.
We're a married couple who reads the same chapters every week.
And then refuses to let each other get away with bad takes.
She's here for the magic and the mayhem of the heart.
He's here for the lore and the legendary stakes.
And every week we read the same chapters and pretend we're going to keep it calm and reasonable.
And then immediately start debating fictional people like they personally offended us.
All right, now it's time for our favorite part. Let's talk about what's going on with us in the podcast. All right, so very first thing, we have gone off the ledge a little bit into psychedelic land. Not that we've taken them yet.
This is an ADHD hyperfocus for sure, so
Yes.
we are full deep dive.
So I've always had a big interest in the brain, the mind, and how it all works, the universe and stuff. I am one of those that has the whole existential crisis thing about what happens when we die, or like how big the universe is compared to what we are and things like that. And the mind for me has always been a crazy connection to all that, especially once we started doing the holotropic breathing for the first time together. And I felt that connectiveness that you get with psychedelics. And from all the research we did, we found out that holotropic breathing is basically like taking psychedelics. It's just harder to control because you have to focus on your breathing and a bunch of other things.
Yeah, you don't have to focus on that when you actually do the psychedelics.
Yeah.
The natural psychedelics.
And of course, one of the biggest things when we started watching these two documentaries, so we started watching How to Change Your Mind, which is probably the most famous of the documentaries, actually a New York Times bestseller as well. So we started watching that to learn about psilocybin, MGMT, or not MGMT, MDMA. MGMT is a band, one of my favorites, but MDMA, what else? Mescaline last night.
Yeah.
And LSD.
And LSD, yeah.
And one of the biggest things that we've learned while watching these documentaries is all the lies that we have been told our entire life about these, the same with marijuana.
That DARE program, wow. That was some mass drug indoctrination.
Yeah.
That's.
So here's the crazy part and why we got really excited about this is because when I started watching these documentaries a while ago on Netflix, Explained was one of my favorite documentaries because it has a whole bunch of different topics are only 18 minutes long. And then I found the one about your mind. There's a psychedelics one. I was like, oh, so what's this about? I didn't know shit about psychedelics. I thought they fucked your brain up as well. Because you see it in movies and everyone just all the Seth Rogen shit and whatnot. But that's not what these are for. These actually open your mind. And a lot of people say they feel connectiveness. And the crazy thing is these studies that they've been doing in therapy help people get over alcoholism, cigarette smoking, PTSD with one treatment sometimes. And that's how crazy this is. So we wanted to dive even more into it.
With all the propaganda that they've thrown at us, it's been very difficult to unravel that for myself, especially because my family also reinforced that. So to be learning all of the different ways that we can open up our minds and feel that connectiveness. And that feels like a mass empathy thing.
Yeah.
And almost like they're trying to keep people from realizing that we are all connected and that, hey, we should give a shit about other people because we are all one and the same.
Everything's connected. We're all connected. Yes.
Like anything you do to someone else, you're doing unto yourself. Like, come on, guys, read your book.
Yeah, that's where my ADHD took over, though, because once we started learning this stuff, I wanted to learn more, like, how does it affect our brain? Because, for instance, we started learning about, like, the different areas of our brain, the default mode network. That's a big one for me because a lot of people say, I don't know if a lot of people know anything about psychedelics or know anything about meditation, but the person you are, your identity, that's called your ego. So when people take these psychedelics, they talk about losing that identity, losing that ego. And that's when they feel that connectedness. So when they did the research of their brain being scanned, there was a point where that default mode network just shut off and their brain just lit up like a freaking Christmas tree.
Yeah.
And that's when they said that they felt one with everything. But everyone who takes psychedelics say the exact same thing, especially when it comes to intent. Cause that's the biggest thing when taking these things, all about set and setting is what they said.
Yes.
And intent.
Setting.
Yeah. So that's something that we are very interested in. I've always been interested in psilocybin. You've been interested in the strongest one, DMT.
That was the one
that's the one where you see like spirits and shit. Like you see like, that's what everyone says. They call them DMT aliens. So there's an actual thing for it. Yeah.
I guess I was ready to talk to them. I thought,
yeah.
I don't know that I actually am. Like it would probably freak me out, but I don't know. There's so many weird coincidency type things that happen. We've also, on top of the psychedelics, been delving into psychology and quantum thinking and quantum jumping and the quantum realm.
We watched that Infinity documentary on Netflix as well, which was insane.
So,
I highly recommend.
So now I'm like thinking, oh, they open up your mind to be into the quantum realm. So all of it's connected. So now I'm looking at brain hacking and psychology, and I don't know which way to go. So we're in like 4 different sections in Barnes and Noble. And so if anybody has any suggestions on, hey, this is a great place to start, that would be great.
This is part of our ADHD, which then goes into our next topic. Why we have not been reading as much as we've been wanting to. It's because of things like this. We've also our kids have been watching Gravity Falls, and that got us caught up because the show's so good. And then we realized, oh, there's another show just like it called The Owl House on Disney Plus, which we absolutely have fallen in love with as well. And then we've been getting caught up on Daredevil. And then she found The Sandman on Netflix, which is another great show. So it's just been that plus getting the podcast and this going again. But we are going to get back into reading again, and we're going to start scheduling time for these kind of things.
I feel like if we canceled all of our subscriptions, we would read a lot more.
Yeah. And speaking of ADHD squirreling, there's another new hobby that you found.
TikTok will be the death of me one of these days. So my new obsession is fairy lamps. I saw one person on TikTok go, look what I found. I found this fairy lamp. And then it was just a quick, what are fairy lamps? And then it was just pages upon pages of people finding the tops or finding the bottom fairy lamps just randomly, like at a yard sale or at an estate sale or at Goodwill or at an antique mall. I was like, new quest unlocked.
But when you took us and kids last week, we actually had fun doing it, like looking for the things, because it's basically a treasure hunt. That's all it is. And then you sent me a couple photos this week, and you're like, look, I found some. And then you showed me the price tag, and you're like, but I'm good. I'm buying them.
It had the cool green glowy effect, but $230? Okay, thank you. But the other one was really unusual. I had not seen one like that. It was I want to say Japanese style house.
Yeah.
And it was it did not come apart the way that I expected it to. Just the top came off. So I assume it said on there that it was a fairy lamp, and that made sense. It was 2 parts like I was expecting, and it was $90.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as $230. And it was super cute.
So apparently this is a hobby thing on TikTok. Like this is like a now thing blowing up.
Yeah.
Everyone's just going to find these.
And I know that because when I went on Tuesday for my self-care day, I went to several stores, and at one of the stores, I mentioned something to the lady at the front, and she said, oh yeah, that in those, chicken and hen or the hen basket things. She goes, yeah, all of a sudden everybody's coming looking for these.
Yep.
And she goes, I don't know what it's about.
It's about these side hustles, though. So everyone has been noticing this trend. I think I saw a video on TikTok today about Pokemon, Nido, these fairy lamps, all these trends, because now the big thing nowadays is everybody needs a side hustle. Like this podcast is a side hustle. Everything is a side hustle now. Like we have now broken into these little niches and stuff, but it's also turned consumerism into insanity as well. Because where I work, every day we get calls for Nidos and Pokemon, and people just go crazy, especially like once the last one gets sold. You should see how angry some of these people get. Not at us, but you can just see on their faces like, rah, and you're like, dude, it's a piece of cardboard, man.
Wow.
And yeah, and no one cared about these fucking squishies that are made for neurodivergent people until just a few months ago. Someone made some random TikTok, and now all of a sudden there's these things, and now these, you got the dads coming in, running in, I need Pokemon. Then you got the moms coming in, I need Needles. You're like, what the fuck? What? Can we get things for the kids? Like, not a single kid coming in asking for this shit. It's crazy.
We got ours. Thank goodness. We each have the little drops.
Yeah, we got it because we need it for stimming.
Yeah.
That's what they're for.
I don't know why I don't have mine over here. That would be
I don't know. Anyway, so moving on, we got some good news. Again, May 13th is our big interview with JC Lynn, who is the author of For Whom the Bell Tolls and creator of Hell's Bells. So we are very excited for that one. I'm currently editing that right now. I will be honest, the audio did get a little bit messed up, so I'm trying to clean it up as much as possible. So it's not going to be perfect, but it still works. It's still a great interview, and everyone's going to have a great time.
Now let's talk about book choices. Next week, we're talking about doing the second Dungeon Crawler Carl book, or should we do something else? Yeah.
So as we mentioned before, we don't want to be stuck doing one series, especially now that we know it is confirmed by Matt Dinniman. This is going to be a 10-book series, and some of these books are thick as fuck. We are going to put it up for votes every single time when we get close to the middle or finishing the current book that we're on, to if you want to continue finishing the series. And we will have 3 other possible books that we want to read that you can vote on as well. We can move on. And we can always come back to DCC if we do decide to move on. Nothing says we can't, but sometimes you just need a break from a series, especially when you spend 7 to 8 weeks per book.
Yeah.
So
that's a long time per book, when that's a lot of books I could be reading.
And that's a little bit of reason why we got burnt out last time with Throne of Glass and things like that. So we just want to make sure that everyone's happy. You guys, us. Yeah. So look forward next week for voting on what we will be reading next. All right. And then real quick, I just want to touch on this. Ever since douchebag Oracle has bought TikTok, it feels gross.
Yeah. It's not the same anymore at all.
The FYP is broken. Book Talk is definitely broken. I don't even like being on Book Talk anymore. It's nothing but controversy. Now you have the whole thing with, Dion, the author. All these fans are recording these authors during these meet and greets that are like, oh, they didn't pay enough attention to me. So now this is the new thing blowing up on Book Talk right now. There's always some negative trend blowing up on Book Talk. And again, people don't get the context. Like, they don't understand. These authors are tired. They have to talk to people every day. So a lot of these authors are neurodivergent. Like, I have to put on the smiley face every day at my job, and I get exhausted sometimes. And sometimes I'm a little bit shorter with people. And it's not because I don't want to talk to the people. I'm just burnt out. Maybe my mind's just not there. Like, we just don't know what kind of day they're having. So we got to give them just a little bit of a break, because they're also traveling. So much shit.
I don't even know about this controversy. That's how out of touch with Book Talk I am.
That's because it's gotten so negative now. So I can understand like why. I touch on it because I've been trying to amp us back up as we've been doing the podcast again. But I also want to know like where everyone's moving to. I know like Blue Sky might still be a thing, because I've heard that mentioned. I keep hearing everyone talking about Substack. I haven't looked too much into that or what that's about. I know Instagram's still a thing. We can still amp up there, but
where are you guys going?
Yeah, where's everyone going? Because like the reason why we like TikTok, it was great for people like that are neurodivergent. You can just scroll through. Instagram is too posh, and it feels that you have to
put on airs all the time. You can't be yourself.
It just feels very neurotypical. I hate saying that. Nothing is neurotypical, but it just feels like I can't keep up with the Joneses. It's just too. I'm not good at making things look pretty, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So anyway, just let us know where everyone is hanging out at.
All right.
Let's do it.
Okay, everybody, it's time to activate your spoiler shield. We're covering Dungeon Crawler Carl through chapter 25. Enter at your own risk.
This series contains blood, profanity, catastrophic decision-making, and a cat with more sass than RuPaul's Drag Race. Proceed responsibly. Also, if you're enjoying the show, hit follow or subscribe so you don't miss next week's dive. If you are enjoying our humble little show and you know of other Chaos Gremlins who would enjoy our vibe, please share our show with them. For small independent shows like ours, it helps a lot more than you know.
We drop new episodes weekly every Wednesday on podcast platforms and YouTube. We also go live on TikTok every week for the unfiltered version. Theories, reactions, and whatever we didn't say on mic.
And if you want to reach out directly, questions, thoughts, business inquiries, you can email us at bookfor2podcast@gmail.com. All right, last week, Carl and Princess Donut did some level grinding, killed their first boss, started a gang war between the goblins and llamas, and possibly blew up some babies. Are all cats like this?
Probably. There's no possibly, though, because this week, it's not just the goblins they have to worry about. They finally meet Frank Q. But not all meet and greets are unpleasant because we get to meet a group that could alter how Carl and Donut navigate the dungeon. Oh, and they find stairs. But that's not all. Okay, spoiler shield fully engaged. We can't wait to crawl into this week's chapters.
Between infanticide, a hoarder boss with bugs coming out of their mouth, and dungeon-grade meth, I don't know how much crazier this can get, but let's find out. Let's dive into chapters 18 through 25 of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Let's turn the page.
That escalated quickly. Chapter 18. Now it's time to deal with the aftermath of those decisions. Babies?
The explosion had been bigger than Carl expected, followed by some smaller explosions and hissing. Good thing they ran as far away as they did. They got a shit ton of achievements, and they got another star for killing another neighborhood boss. But Carl has to know, was she serious about the babies?
Donut confirms that there were lots of babies and pregnant goblins also in there, but that's no matter. They are both level 8 now. She is mildly pressed that they didn't get the fanfare and get to see their faces all big, but that was better than getting locked in the boss, right?
Carl is not dealing well with the fact that he killed babies, even if they were goblins. He didn't even want to look at the notifications. Meanwhile, Donut is all, what? They're goblins. We didn't ask to be here. Weren't they basically using the babies as shields anyways, a la Elon Musk?
Woo, rough. No time to dwell on any of that new trauma. They have to get the neighborhood map and get the hell out of there. The goblins are definitely going to come back and see what the fuck happened, and they are going to be pissed.
Too bad there was ankle-deep water and walls that were literally burning. Not going to get to loot the boss this time, which is fine by Carl. He really wasn't looking forward to seeing those dead babies anyways.
That's when he noticed the white dots. Goblins coming back. Time to jet. The quick escape has them headed into unknown territory. This should be fun.
Here's hoping the mobs in the new quadrant aren't more slimes and that there will be a safe room to take a real breather in. Then they can get on the chopper and try to find some stairs.
All right, time for Dungeon Debrief.
All right, let's talk about Carl's feelings about the dungeon and taking out monsters versus taking out babies who will eventually grow into the same monsters.
Yeah, I think Carl understands that these aren't just regular monsters, that these are also beings. I think Donut might still think that this is all just a regular game. I don't think she gets it, maybe. Or is she that psychotic and she just really doesn't give a fuck? That's what I'm questioning.
With her intelligence, maybe she understands it's kill or be killed. And I don't know. Cat prerogative? Cats are creatures. Cats are creatures.
They do say that if you were to die in your house alone, the cats would literally eat you, eat your body and shit. So
it's survival.
But this is different, though. This is intelligence.
Survival.
But this is still intelligence, though. Because that's what they always say the difference is between us and other animals is we are a higher intelligent being. So we understand the difference between homicide and just doing it for survival and stuff like that. Where if she is this intelligent, which is obviously more intelligent than Carl, if Carl's a average intelligent human at 3 intelligence?
I think so.
And she has at least, more than 11 because she actually goes up in intelligence. So she's in the 20s at least, possibly 30s. So of all people, she should understand. But then again, maybe she does understand. And it's because of that understanding, she's just, I don't know. I cannot spin this one. It's babies.
It is babies. They weren't going to get the map.
Okay.
They weren't going to get the boss kill. If they went in there and activated it like normal, those were all going to turn into red dots.
But I think Carl's issue is, and my issue is, and a lot of people probably thinking the same thing. She's a cat. She's stealthy. She should have been able to scope the situation, talk about the babies first instead of just pushing the goddamn bomb through and just whatever. Because normally you would scout the situation.
That was definitely a cat move.
She wants, I get it. It's survival of the fittest. And that's the game she's playing right now. She's trying to get them on the board. There's no better way than getting on a highlight board than blowing up some babies. So
I don't think she specifically wanted to blow up babies. I think she specifically wanted to take out the chieftain, and it didn't matter to her that there were collateral damage.
Yeah. But that's what I mean by psychopath, sociopath, because there's no empathy there.
Yeah, because she had a singular focus and was like, "Oh, sounds familiar. Sounds
very familiar." Yeah. All right, so now they're going to be heading to New Quadrant. Like you said, they didn't get a chance to grab the map, unfortunately, but they had to get the fuck out of there because the goblins are coming back. But they have their new bike, which should have them be able to travel faster, so that's good.
They're getting some new bad guys, staying away from the slime still, because gross.
Yes.
And they're going to get a new neighborhood boss. We're going to
They got to find some stairs. That's their biggest thing. That's why they wanted the motorcycle to begin with, is they got to find those stairs so they can plan their next move ahead of time.
Because there's only going to be, 75,000 stairs?
Yes.
Woo, okay.
All right. Quote of the chapter. Go for it.
Some of them were wearing little oversized jackets, like Baby Yoda. Bro.
Dude, that's messed up. Because now it's like you just blew up Baby Yoda.
And now you have a mental picture of how adorable they probably looked.
They probably were
like,
adorable, man. Because I'm not saying Yoda is ugly by any means, but like his species isn't exactly the best looking.
It's Grogu.
But Grogu's just cute as shit with
Baby
the big old
Yoda
eyes.
is
Oh,
Grogu.
That's messed up. Because now you're just thinking about all these Grogus. Matt Dinniman, that's just mean.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that.
That's just mean, especially with The Mandalorian and Grogu coming out here shortly. That's all I'm going to think about now is, great, Matt Dinniman blew up Grogu.
All of the little
Damn
Grogus.
it. Which is also our funniest moment. All right, so there are no nerds explaining nerd things on this one. Everything's been explained, so we are going to move on.
All right, you ready to turn the page?
Let's do it.
You Will Not Break Me. Chapter 19. Time to Level Collapse. 2 days. Better get a move on.
Nothing like killing infants and more than 20 not combatants to earn a couple achievements and some loot boxes, appropriately named asshole boxes. They can think about that later, though. They had to fight off explosive raviolis to get to the closest safe room first. You know what? Sometimes I get explosive raviolis.
Oh, God. That's diarrhea, honey.
Oh.
All right. The new safe room was nothing to look at, though. Think DMV and post-apocalyptic bus station or some rougher parts of major U.S. cities. It has the same basic shit as the other safe house, minus anyone to ask questions to. Instead, you get an XP cookie in this safe room. Hooray for you.
Hey.
10 whole XP. Hey, try not to spend it all in one place.
That's a lot. Before heading out to find stairs, they needed to rest and check out their new loot. Carl got some more explosive base achievements and goblin boxes, bronze boss box, and gold looter box, leveling up all his combat and explosive skills.
Her Highness also got skills and achievements from charming the goblins and a silver beguiler box. She also got her first piece of armor from the boss box, a tome she can't learn yet, some weapon potions, and a goblin pass tattoo of her very own.
Which she was not happy about. All right, Carl's ton of crap contained more potions, more boomsticks, scrolls of confusing fog, but still no pants or shoes. Carl also got the same new tattoo, a dagger dripping blood burned onto his neck. Cool.
It sounds to me like he should probably just get used to tattoos and brands.
Yeah, that's definitely a old school traditional tattoo as well.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Finally, done checking out their new stats and loot, they pick a cot for a nap and Donut curls up with Carl.
Aw. Of course, sleep isn't just going to overtake him, not with "you monster" rolling around in his head. But come on, the entire thing had been a setup, and he wasn't about to be gaslit by these alien assholes. Not while holed up in the destroyed remains of his own world.
You're not going to break me. You might hurt me or kill me, but you're not going to break me. All right, on to Dungeon Debrief.
All right, first thing, let's talk about the Desperado Pass, this glorious new tattoo that Miss Donor is. To say that she is pissed is an understatement.
Big understatement.
Oh, she's been filed.
Yes.
How dare they? A disqualifying mark. Does she think she's going back to pageants after level 18?
I have no idea because she needs to face reality, this cat. She's been pampered her entire goddamn life. And she's also showing this pampered human is just like this, because there are pampered humans, people who are very void of reality. So again, reality check. That was the word I was looking for last week. She's going to have a hard reality check eventually.
Oh, yeah.
And that's going to hopefully wake her up, because right now, I get it. It is a game and you got to play the game. But right now it's just, look.
She thinks everything's going to go back to normal after level 18.
Yeah. It's a tattoo. You're going to have to do some things. You're going to have to get your hands dirty and fight, especially when you have the highest strength. Like, you're going to have to sacrifice some things too, not just Carl.
Yeah. You have to participate somehow. Now she got a cat skirt. So now she's got her first piece of armor.
Yes.
Which is hilarious because Carl still doesn't have pants.
I don't think he's going to get him. Obviously, everyone cosplays. So this can be the running joke, that and the feet thing.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But she got the scale armor, which means I got to get some new piece of gear. I'm so excited.
A little skirty skirt.
Enchanted Fey Scale Quadruped Crupper of the Fleet.
Basically makes her nimbly bimbly. More nimbly bimbly, blimbly blimbly. Yeah.
I love it.
All right. And then she got a tome that she can't cast yet because her MP isn't up there yet. So a few more levels and she'll be able to cast said tome, which is a minion army?
Yes.
That sounds fucking sick.
So it makes your enemies fight for you instead of against you.
Tinfoil hat, which I don't have with me, put on real quick. That's going to come up later. Tinfoil hat off, put it down. And we'll talk about that during tinfoil hat section, of course.
Oh, for sure.
Because that's pretty fucking cool.
All right, let's talk about Carl's. He snagged another Ring of Constitution and a skill potion. So now he's another point to the determined value skill.
Yep.
Allowing him to sort his inventory by value. Love that.
That is a great... I didn't know how important that was until I started playing WoW. Like, when they first give you bags, the normal WoW bags fucking suck because nothing is goddamn sorted and you don't know shit. You're constantly guessing, is this going to upgrade for me or not? And then we got some lovely fucking add-ons which sort everything for you. They tell you like, oh, little green arrow, this is better for you. Little red arrow, not good for you. It's, oh, this is so nice and simplistic. I love it. So I bet he's fucking ecstatic.
They came out with the new update for WoW and I can't use a lot of my add-ons.
Yeah, they're trying to get rid of the add-on thing. And I don't know how I feel about that, but.
Now, to be fair, Blizzard has taken all of our complaints and all of the reasons that we had the add-ons and tried to incorporate them into the game.
That's true. I'm not a old head like you are. I just started playing during Dragonflight just a few years ago, so I can't say specifically how the game has developed and what they have done. I have seen the documentaries of, oh, Blizzard's not listening, but then they started listening to you guys and then started getting good. And of course, Shadowlands happening and everyone was like, fuck this shit. And then luckily they came out with something good after that, but.
And I'm just over here picking flowers because I don't care. There's flowers in every zone and I can beat on some things if I need to. All right.
The last big point is Carl has determined that he is not going to be a pawn. And just like for those of you who have read Throne of Glass and where Aelin said the saying with her and Sam, I am not afraid. This, from what I understand, is another big quote besides God damn it, donut.
Yeah.
Is you are not like, you're not going to break me. You're not going to hurt me, but you're not going to break me. You may hurt me. Yeah.
You will not break me.
Yeah, you will not break me. So that's a big quote. But the other big thing is what Donut did to those babies is still rolling around in his mind. He is having a very tough time with it. And he thinks of himself as a monster for allowing that to happen.
That was the achievement that he got.
Yeah.
The announcer saying that is just rolling around in his head.
Oh, yeah. Some of these achievements that they got, it was rough. It let him have it. Like, it was, yeah, it's messing with your psyche. But I think that might be the point, too. It is going to mess with your psyche in this game.
That's going to bring the views. And that's what this game is all about. It's all about the views for them.
Yep. Which brings us down to our favorite achievement in Power Up, War Criminal. Question, what's the only thing standing between an innocent child and a happy, fulfilling life? Answer, you. The answer is you. And that is exactly what we were just talking about with basically the AI trolling people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listening to it on Audible, absolutely hilarious. Jeff Hayes, chef's kiss.
All right. And we do have a nerds explaining nerd things. Go ahead.
All right. We're going to talk about takedown. Takedown means knocking you on your ass.
Nice.
Enough,
yeah.
right?
That's a very simplest. Yeah. That's basically what it is. Yeah.
And his, troll skin shirt negated that?
Yes.
Perfect.
And the good thing is with a takedown in D&D, for instance, that means they have fallen down. So sometimes they skip their turn. So that's an advantage. So a lot of times it's an advantage in MMO RPGs and things like that. When you see the word takedown, you're like, ooh, advantage. So that's when you want to like really power up and attack. All right. And we do have a new mob, the rot stickers.
They are chittering, explosive raviolis. They have about a 3-second delay once they attach to your body. And we talked about they inflict takedown, and the troll skin shirt negates that.
Yes. So now you can see why it's nice having buffs and debuffs. So the buff of his takedown stopped the whole takedown thing.
And the iron skin potion that he had both him and Donut take in case.
Yes. And it's exploding raviolis, not exploding diarrhea. Got it. And on that note,
I'm glad we cleared that up.
Yes. And on that note,
you ready to turn the page?
Ice freeze, baby. Chapter 20. Nothing like a few surprises awaiting Carl and Donut as they awoke. The second airing of the highlights and Frank Q.
Not the way you want to wake up in a safe room with possibly the most dangerous crawler in the same space. It was an unpleasant surprise because apparently sleeping in the bathroom turns your dot off for others. But why was he in the women's room?
Everyone meet Frank Q, middle-aged douchebag ice. Did Matt Dinniman see this one when he wrote this?
I know what he means. That asshole, authoritative, I'm more important than you voice they try to use.
All right. Thanks to Noah's boldness about Rebecca Q, the dead crawler, we get to hear Frank Q's dungeon entrance story, how he lost his partner, and why he's now a lone survivor.
Yeah, cool story, bro. But Carl wasn't buying it. Thank goodness for Syndicate HUD technology for PMs between party members, because he was able to give Donut the heads up that they were in danger and not to fire magic missiles.
Under the guise of helping Carl with some much-needed pants and shoes, Frank started fumbling around his inventory, which gave Donut enough time to see Maggie step out of the bathroom, firing a gun at Carl. But wait a second, there's supposed to be no fighting in these goddamn safe rooms. So Frank Q and Maggie froze instantly. 100-second timeout for those two.
Ooh, okay. They're all geared up for a fast escape to the nearest artery. Donut threw a wrench in the plan, though. Shouldn't they have taken them out so they didn't hurt someone else?
Shit, new plan. Plant exploding loot in lootable corpses along the path and hope they're the kind of players to loot everything. It's pretty genius.
It is pretty genius. No time to waste, though. They make it to the main road and bust out the chopper just in time for patch update notes.
It's too bad I didn't get to watch the rest of the show to see if they were on it.
Bummer.
All right, it's time for... All right, so they can both go stealth, Maggie and Frank, but did they use stealth in the bathrooms, or do you automatically get your dot turned off when you go in the bathroom?
That's what it sounded like.
At first, but then when we found out they went stealth, so maybe he was lying about that. Maybe he was just saying that to pretend that they don't know that they have stealth. I mean, that would be stealthy. That is stealthy, yeah.
All right. We learned you earn skulls for killing crawlers.
Yep.
Frank has killed 3, and Maggie has apparently killed 5.
Yeah, and their story definitely is bullshit.
Oh, for sure. Everything about their story was sus.
Mm-hmm. Now, nobody can touch you when you sleep. Do you believe that one?
I don't know. They've never seen anyone else inside of a space.
Exactly.
I don't know. Yeah. I'm literally sus about everything that they said because they're clearly liars.
Yeah.
Because Frank is an ice agent.
Yeah. And also, I think that it's pretty on the nose. This is written in 2020. So before this administration. Mm-hmm. And it's just hilarious now that Frank is an ICE agent with Maggie, and they are just taking out crawlers, stealing everything, doing what we would think an ICE agent would most likely do in this fucking scenario. So Matt was just like, oh, yeah, this is exactly what an ICE agent would do. Like, he knew that they're shitbags.
He definitely did. And I'm wondering if his story is such bullshit that he said Rebecca W. was a human trafficker. Was that incorrect? Or Frank and Maggie?
What are the ICE agents doing now? Where are all the women and children? Where are the people from Alligator Alcatraz?
Where are the women and children?
Human trafficking ICE agent. This matches perfectly.
Matt Dinniman, are you a time traveler? All right. So we found out that you get 3 strikes for fighting in safe rooms.
Yeah.
So with your first offense, you get a 100-second timeout. Your second offense, you get an hour timeout. And with your third offense, get this shit, you are stripped of gear and you're teleported to the next closest mob.
Oh, that sucks. But it's a mob nest.
Mob nest.
Yeah. Now, mobs can get in the door when left open, and they will trash the place, but they do get teleported away very quickly. So that is going to be very important later on. That's a tinfoil hat for later.
Definitely. All right. Inventory was limited in the previous seasons, and then we still wanted to get into the limited or not.
Yeah, where the fuck do all these items go? Because the amount of shit that they are carrying does not make sense physically. Like, in the science of physics, it has to go somewhere. It's energy. Like, it has to be put somewhere. Again, it might be explained later books or something like that. Whereas, I think it's just a little pocket dimension, like little storage dimension.
I think you're right.
Like in Labyrinth. Remember Labyrinth where he puts the door up, hoggle, and he opens the door and it's broom closet, and then he opens the other door.
Yeah.
Probably something like that.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
I like thinking of it like that now. Okay. All right. I liked their booby trap using the dead rat and the bomb.
Yep.
I feel like I totally would have fallen for that because I would have seen the sparklies. Oh, it's lootable, and looted it.
I think we all would.
Yeah. I think I'm going to have to remember that if this is like ever becomes a thing. Don't loot everything.
Yeah, my issue is this might work, but I have a feeling that Frank and Maggie are pretty loaded up when it comes to items. So even if this does hurt them, I don't think it's going to kill them. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, but it'll at least stop them, and maybe they'll hear something about it, or maybe they'll hear an explosion, maybe. I don't know.
Now, he keeps doing a lot of bomb handling. I do think this is going to be part of his class later on in level 3. He keeps making different types of bombs, so this will definitely be a thing for him.
Do you think they have profession classes? Like he's going to be an engineer? Because that's one of the classes or professions in
probably.
WoW. So, he could be an engineer. So or bomb handler, like a goblin bombard. All right.
Yep. All right. So we found out a little bit more about B. She was apparently dating 3 guys and one woman as well.
Which, of course, Donut doesn't understand. He watched that on the TV all the time.
Yeah.
She straight up called him out. And he's, listen, we're not talking about that right now.
Yeah.
Oh, what'd she say? They were greeting each other or something? The 2 women greeting each other?
It's so funny.
Oh my God, I can't even drink. That was so great.
All right. There was talk about an early extinction event, and words do matter. So this is when they get hit with another announcement of patch notes. So again, I'm going to put on a little tinfoil hat real quick. This is just something that I wanted to get out there, that I think that this is, what do we say it was? A liquidation of Earth, because it's just a guess. That's why they're hurrying this. So early extinction event. That's the only thing I can think of with a corporation, why they would hurry up and get rid of something.
Everybody has been surprised. Oh my gosh, this is 2 years sooner than we were expecting. What's going on here? Yeah, sounds like they're trying to drum up some money.
Yep. All right. So some of the other ones, patch notes, they fixed the exploding and sucking issues. I can see why people would rather piss and shit in the hallways. And if you have a fear for your life whilst pooping.
Oh, that's what that's about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So people were feeling fear for their life, dropping deuces and things like that. So they're like, I'm not trying to get stuck into a toilet, which is a valid fear.
I feel like these patch notes, the crawlers that got affected by these patch notes should get a redo. That's their fault that the toilet exploded.
But that's why there's patch notes, because this is no different than a video game, because you can say you can't blame the players for blah, blah, blah. And wow. And that's why they have a patch note, because you can't go back and refix the entire dungeon and restart the entire thing because it's too much money.
Yeah, but you
not
get
cost
to
effective.
Respawn in the game.
But
you
again,
don't get to respawn here.
Hey, but this is supposed to be based on real life video games. If you are developing a video game, you can't go back to the beginning. It's way too much money. And if they're liquidating right now, so that's why you do patch notes. That's why all these developers do patch notes, because, okay, here's a quick fix, real quick. And then you're not screwing up someone's game. Because what if someone put in 40 hours and then you're like, okay, everyone has to start from the beginning again because 5 people got screwed over. And you're like, oh, man. So that's why they do patch notes.
That makes sense. Nobody wants to start all over
Now,
again.
if it affects 100% of players, then that's a whole different story. Then you got to start from scratch. But if it's like only affecting like a small group or one class or like one race, then you just patch note it.
All I'm saying is the people who got killed because of these issues should get a redo. Like, they should get to try again. It's not their fault that the toilet exploded on them. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, but again, this is different.
The AI fucked up, not the crawler.
But this is different, though. This is real life. This isn't a video game where you just respawn. There's no respawn. Like, you don't.
Sure.
Pretty damn sure. Mm-hmm. I think when you kill mobs, they're dead for real. Like, when you kill a goblin, that sucker's dead for good. There's no respawning.
All right. They also fixed the language barrier for a few languages, and they tweaked a few mobs to include a mob that almost caused an early extinction level event. Okay.
Yeah.
So the mob was just too huge.
Yep.
And then it kept getting exponentially more and more
I have a feeling
powerful.
That's going to come back to play later as well. That's like a little nugget. That's going to come back to bite us.
For sure.
All right. Now, there were those cookies where you get 10 XP, but if you are partnered up with somebody and you eat it, you get 9.8, they get 0.2. That does happen a lot in some video games, and that's how they figured out that Frank wasn't alone when he ate the cookie.
Yeah. And then Carl also noticed that he was moving his fingers like this, like he was typing. Because he hadn't figured out yet how to do it in his brain. That's a very good skill.
Oh, yeah, the voice chat, yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good skill. Not even that. Is that considered voice chat?
Yeah, it's a channel voice chat, just Discord. Like, you're going to a private voice chat versus someone typing.
But it still sounds like Carl and Donut are typing. It's still a text
Oh,
message.
I don't know.
I guess he can probably visualize
yeah.
on the HUD or something, maybe, because he doesn't have to like do any kind of movement where Frank Q did that. And he was like, who's he typing to? So good on Carl for noticing that shit.
All right, down to quote of the chapter. So those of you who are hearing this and finally understanding what I'm saying for the first time, welcome. You'll figure the rest out, I'm sure. So this was when they were doing the patch notes and the announcer was talking about one of the patch notes where language barriers, like some languages weren't working. So they fixed that. And like I said, instead of going back to the beginning, just for a few people, they were like, you're going to have to figure this out. Good luck.
Good luck. I'm sorry that you have
that you don't know all the rules right now. So that's how it is. It's like you're dropped, like with me with WoW, you're dropped in the middle of this shit. They're not going to force feed me everything. They're just going to be like, here's some things for you. Good luck. You can read.
So I wonder if they faced the hoarder now, if they would have understood her because she was speaking Spanish. I'm just wondering. It was just
no, because it was for the translation from the native language to Syndicate. Like, because they couldn't understand the rules of the game. Like, they couldn't understand the Syndicate people. Okay. Yeah, that was the issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk about the funniest moment.
Yep.
Donut giving Carl shit for figuring out that Frank and Maggie, but not about B.
Yes. But that makes sense. That means that's just how aloof Carl was in the relationship and how like checked out he was with life to where he didn't pay attention to anything, his surroundings. But now that it's life or death, especially when he knows what Frank is, he's more attuned to what the hell's going on. And when he's more attuned, he knows what the fuck he's doing. That's basically what she's saying.
His situational awareness is just right up on top now. It's life or death, like you said.
Yep. All right, so we do have a character update. We finally met Frank Q. At this point, he is a level 8 crawler. He's in his 40s, possibly copper military. We figured out he is iced. He does have spiked enchanted shoulder pads, so football pads with spikes. So anyone who is an old school WWE, back then WWF, there were two wrestlers, Hawk and Animal. They were the Demolition Brothers tag team. And one of their sons played for Ohio State, went and played pro in the NFL as well. So he had real shoulder pads playing in the NFL. His dad had shoulder pads with the spikes, with the face paint. For those of you who are going to be watching on YouTube or Spotify, I'll put a picture up of who they are and you'll be like, oh shit, I remember them. I'll show a picture of it after this chapter. Okay.
All right.
And you'll be like, oh shit. Yeah. And I'll show you the Bushwhack brothers. I could totally do it now that I'm bald. So what they would do is before a fight, they would like do this little marching thing that they would lick each other's bald heads and shit. It was so funny. They were great though. Oh God. Old school WWF was funny as shit though. It wasn't like as insane as it is now.
Do you think they put like something flavorful on their heads? Because I've licked your your bald head and it's very salty.
Yeah. They're just crazy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That was just part of their gimmick.
Okay.
And then who's the other character we met?
Maggie Mai. She's the level 9 crawler and she has 5 crawler kills.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I forgot to say that Frank has 3 and neither one has a boss kill. So it sounds like they're just going after crawlers and stealing their shit. They're letting everyone else do the hard work and they're just cleaning up afterwards. So they're probably killing mobs, grinding to level up, to stay in line with people while they take out the hard bosses and then they're fucking cleaning up their loot.
Or, hear me out, they're lying to groups. Like they were trying to lie to Carl and Donut, try to get in good with them, go and do a fight, go and do like mob things with people. And then once they get good loot, we'll just take them out now.
Yep.
Oh, fucking ICE agents.
All right. We're going to drop down to
nerds explaining nerd things. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we got the thing. All right. So real quick before we get started, we are going to move nerds explaining nerd things to after all the chapters. So we're just going to do like a full list. It's going to be a lot more fun and involved. And that's going to be right before tinfoil hat time. All right. So let's start with patch notes. You want me to take that one or do you want that one?
I feel like you covered it, but I feel like you have a really good grasp on it.
All right. So a patch note is just an update. So if there's a bug, something wrong with a class, or for instance, if someone is too powerful or not powerful enough, like there's usually sometimes where, what they call it, imbalance. So they'll do patch notes to fix these issues. It might piss off a lot of players because the players who are using the OP characters are like, oh, and then that class usually diminishes and some other class, it goes up and down, or it just fixes a game without having to remove the entire game.
Wouldn't this be the same thing as like your phone updates?
Yeah, any update, yeah.
So
Just
are those all the same as patch
Yeah,
updates?
yeah. It's basically just updating something without having to completely, just updating something without having to completely shut it down.
Okay. All right.
Yep. All right, safe rooms.
Talk about safe rooms and rules. NPCs will attack you in some games if you start any kind of brawls or fights. I accidentally start fights sometimes because a couple of my landing spells actually do some kind of damage, and I have been wrongfully executed.
Yeah.
It says me.
WoW's fun because in a lot of these towns, like she means safe areas, if a mob is coming after you and you go in a safe area, they'll kick it back. Or if you're in war mode and you're fighting another player and you're in a town, they will attack you and the other player and kick your butts. Like they will literally kick your butts. You're not beating the NPCs.
Yeah, you're not allowed in the safe area.
No.
You better stop it.
No. All right. So that is it for this chapter.
All right. Are you ready to turn the page? No time to waste. Chapter 21. Finally, a light at the end of the tunnel. Spiral. Time to level collapse. 47 hours.
No update on the status of the Ice Twins, but they did get a new achievement for the safe zone fight, which made Carl laugh for the first time in a long time.
Luckily, Carl was able to map the dungeon by remembering directions above and having Donut keep her map open on full screen. The plan was to head into a denser area, the probability of stairs being greater. While Carl familiarized himself with his first motorized bike, his thoughts drifted to his dad. Maybe one of these safe areas will have a therapist to work out these daddy issues.
After hours of travel, they saw a spray-painted sign that said, 2 crossroads east, 3 south, stairs plus people. A potential trap? Sure. But the mob corpses nearby were killed by 15 different crawlers, and Carl takes this as a good sign. Donut and I are very skeptical.
I'm with Carl. The closer they got to the area described, the more signs they saw. And once they reached the junction, they got to see where the stairwell is, in the center of a giant spiral. Thank goodness for the next note they found, telling them not to go further into it, lest they activate the burrow boss.
But come on, it can't be that bad. They get surprised by what he describes as a nightmare Pac-Man monster that smelled like a porta potty left in the middle of a Sahara desert in the middle of the summer after 50 people filled it with beer shits. Graphic, I know.
Extremely. Well, that's how we end that summary.
Yeah. All right. It is time for...
All right. He's settling in a little bit into the crawler mode, laughing. And
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's starting to lighten up. Because,
yeah, there we go. Lighten up. Yeah. That's what I was looking for.
Well, Donut's helping a lot, too. I think it's nice that Donut can talk. He has a companion. And it's a little fun. You're in a live video game. It's still scary, but...
There's nothing you can do about it, so you kind of just have to roll with it at this point.
Yeah, but his daddy issues are definitely a big thing that still affect him to this day, because now that he's on this motorcycle for the first time in his life, his thoughts veer to, I wish my dad could see this, and then it just went to, oh crap, this is like when he left me. It was the last time I saw a motorcycle. And that was just sad as shit. And again, like someone said, oh, there's no feelings or emotions in this. And come on.
He needs therapy about several different
Even
things.
Scott Lynch thinks there's emotions. This series has no goddamn business bearing so much depth and emotion and complexity under its body gory surface. Yes. Now, it might not be emotional in the sense of romance, but it's emotional in the sense of psychology, and parental love is still love.
So Carl was freaking 12 years old when his dad left. So
what does that do to somebody? Yeah. Imagine being 12 years old and your last parent leaves you. First of all, they never showed you love to begin with, and then just leaves you, abandons you at 12.
What would you even do with that? So what, did he go live with family? What was Carl's upbringing like after that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think we touched on that, did we?
I don't think so. Maybe we're getting just little snippets of it.
Yeah.
Of the non-emotion of this book.
I mean, obviously he turned out a decent guy. He's just aloof with feelings and a bunch of other things. We're finding out why, like why he just doesn't trust anyone. Like he doesn't let anyone in because they abandoned him.
He essentially has trauma walls.
Yeah.
Abandonment wound. Yep.
Exactly. Yep.
If he doesn't let them in, they can't abandon him.
Yes.
So he has that wall. I know that's
and that's why he never saw B what she was doing or anything like that, because that wall was so high that he just saw what he wanted to see.
Yeah. He chose to believe that everything was fine just because that was easier.
All right. So at one point they were attacked by these raccoon-headed scat thugs. Now, are we talking like a bunch of like little rocket raccoons from Marvel? That'd be so cute.
I don't want to take those
Yeah,
out.
that's what I'm saying. I love raccoons. And then you got Poco from Blood of Hercules.
I'm hoping that they're not. I should have looked this one up to see what they looked like. I'm going to say they don't look like that, either of those.
I've also been on like raccoon talk for a while, like these pet talk things, and like seeing these like pet raccoons. And then reading this, I'm like, sad.
I'm going to say no. They look like weird things. I can't even name another creature because I like creatures. So I was like, oh, yeah, nothing.
Now, one thing that was good about these raccoon guys was when they were riding their bikes, they didn't see them. So this kind of let them know, okay, the fog of war, we're going a little bit too fast. And we'll explain what fog of war is in the nerd section. So they were just going too fast. And if they want to keep up with the fog of war, they just got to slow down a little bit. So that's good for them to realize that.
Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to find themselves stopping their motorbike in the middle of a giant nest. And then all of a sudden, all the red dots are going to appear and it's going to be too late. They're going to be attacked. That's terrifying.
All right, let's talk about the big one of this chapter. So they found some spray painted directions and they saw that 15 people killed some mobs.
Seems like a group of people.
But do you think it's a trap?
It very well could be a trap, but it doesn't seem trappy.
But so here's my thing. Any apocalyptic movie, TV show will tell you that people get very selfish when it comes to survival. And that's just human nature. It is what it is because the anxiety and trust factor is just not there. But that's just, again, that's human nature when these kind of situations happen. Right now, we feel a lot safer as a world to where we can have a lot more connections and trust strangers more. But when shit's finite and your life's on the line, the trust gets a lot lower.
Trust is really hard when you're in this kind of situation, especially when you've just run into two people who tried to trick you. So now your trust is even lower. You find out that other crawlers can kill you and clearly are. It's all terrifying. Trust is very much at a premium right now.
Yep. All right. And then now there is some ginormous rolling boss thing that says reminds them of a sewage smelling Pac-Man. That's just rolling. So this is I don't know what kind of boss it is yet, but
it sounds like a ball of turd is what it
sounds
like. It smells like.
But luckily it's behind a gate, so they're safe right now, but obviously they're going to probably have to fight whatever the hell this thing is.
Thank goodness for the sign that told them not to go any further.
Yeah.
Because if they had activated, it said it was a burrow boss. That's what, one step above, right?
Yep.
So neighborhood burrow. So they were having issues with the neighborhood bosses. I'm not sure I want the both of them to take on the burrow boss.
The last burrow boss, what was it? Like 40 people, or there's a lot of people that died last burrow boss fight.
That's right.
In the first highlights. But then again, people were probably lower leveled then. There's a lot more time that passed, so maybe.
And they didn't know what they were doing or what they were up against. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yep. All right. That brings us down to quote of the chapter. So this is a funny quote that came from one of the achievements. If this were prison, you would now be my bitch. Wait, reward. Bitches don't get rewards. Did they just admit this was a prison and that Carl was their bitch?
That's totally what that sounds like.
Yeah.
Like, welcome to prison. Oh, it is a prison. Oh, all right. We got some characters this time. We finally meet Brandon and Chris Andrews, number 2.
We haven't met them yet. We just know that that's
we know
their
about
names.
them.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
whenever he scans the dead bodies, those are the two that pop up.
The 2 names.
Yep. All right. And then favorite achievement. I'm going to go to the page. This is absolutely hilarious. That's so funny. I didn't even.
What?
First turn. Again, I'm not lying. This is on video. First turn. And there it is right there.
That was really
So
creepy.
this is one of my favorite achievements of the whole book so far. This is called Bitch Meat. You've been attacked by a fellow crawler in a safe zone, and the system has been forced to save your ass. That usually suggests you're either really annoying or you snore. If this were a prison, you would now be my bitch. Wait, reward. Bitches don't get rewards. Love it. All right. And now it is time for... All right, so this is an easy one. We just got one. It is called the Fog of War. Go ahead.
A lot of games don't allow you to see an area on your map until you've actually been there, or you have found a map like in a treasure chest or by fighting some mob or something, and you got a map and you read the map or used the map, and now you can see the whole area. Like right now in WoW, for both of us, we've got areas that are under Fog of War because we haven't been there yet.
Yes. And some games are a little more strict with Fog of War. Like you really can't see shit until you have a 200-foot zone or some shit, or you have WoW where as long as you're like in that area, that whole area will open up at least. So yeah, it's just to make it fair for the players so they don't see what's coming and makes it more exciting and things like that.
You get to reveal things. It's dopamine hits, really.
Obviously, for this type of game, sucks. The Fog of War sucks. You want to know what's ahead because this is life or death now.
So it's the safe rooms are still visible, though, right? The safe rooms in the stairs?
Yes.
And tutorial guilds?
Yes.
Okay,
those,
so
those pop up, yeah.
Okay, so none of those are...
Yeah, just no mobs or anything like that.
That's still scary.
Or like what rooms and what the layout looks like and shit. All right, so we do have a few new mobs that we learned about. We talked about the scat thugs a little bit. Raccoon-headed monsters, level 3. Think like little rocket raccoons, basically.
But not cute.
Yes.
And chili goats.
Level 4.
Level 4 chili goats.
Yes, those were the dead mobs where they found out, about Chris and Brandon. All right, that's it for chapter 21.
You ready to turn the page?
Let's do it. Not the time to spiral, chapter 22. They found out who were making the signs. 40 old people. Not Golden Girls old. They were Werther's Candy old. Driving 20 under the speed limit. They were from an elderly facility.
Hey, I love Werther's. Don't knock my hard candy.
Do you like Werther's and black licorice? You were meant to live in the 20s.
Yay.
All right, let's run through our new name cast. We have Creepy Lady Agatha, Brothers Bran Ann with the big hammer, Minds Out of the Gutters ladies, and Chris Andrews 2. So I'm guessing if there's another Chris Andrews, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Because it's a pretty common name. Yolanda Martinez and a badass level 10 Imani C. Never mind her 12 crawler killer skulls. What?
All right. Tell that to Princess Donut. Because I am yelling, Carl. Brandon explains to them how they got the old people into the dungeon. Agatha pushed her cart and the stairs turned into a ramp. Clearly. How else do you think that happened?
Unfortunately, the cops and firefighters, people who say they want to help others, ran away. The 20 or so firemen and cops who hadn't bailed and decided they were tough as nails and went directly into the Burrow boss battle. Oops, they're gone.
Knowing that these weren't the only stairs, other doctors had gone looking for other entrances, but never made it back. Under mysterious circumstances. The safe house is already at capacity, and they are living la vida loca until the collapse.
The plan was to gather forces and storm the maze, but no one has shown up to gather. Then, unwilling to abandon what they saw as their duty, they'd move each of the residents down the next level, and then the next level, they'd get to choose a class and be helpful.
Hopefully. Carl took a beat to give their story and suggest an explosive surprise for the boss. But first, with only 40 hours to go and no other stairwell in sight, the new plan was Carl and Donut were going to grind in the nearby neighborhoods, rest, watch episode 3, and come back ready to kick ass.
Carl has a plan. He's not about to just let these people die if he can help it. All right, it's time for... All right, so they found a shit ton of old people and a couple of younger people, and 2 of them are decent fighters, it looks like.
And let's talk about what saved them, though. Let's talk about the fire alarm that saved them, and Agatha.
Yeah, she's sus as fuck.
Agatha started the fire. What does she know? There's first responders that were there that abandoned the people, which is terrible.
Yep.
Ugh.
And then, so Chris is not really a talk. The other brother, he's kind of like a Silent Bob type for Jay and Silent Bob.
All right. It sounds like we've got a couple people who could be helpful, who've got some fight in them.
Yep.
And 20, that'd be 30 plus old people. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
God. Okay, we found out that the borough and city bosses will all have stairs for the first 4 to 5 levels.
Okay.
So that's what the leprosy Pac-Man is?
That's what it sounds like. So probably a borough boss, because I don't think they're going to be taking on a city boss. That's going to be too much. We haven't even seen a city boss yet, or haven't seen a borough boss yet other than the highlights.
Gosh.
All right. Donut has a problem with using all caps.
Again, yelling, Donut. But this time, I feel like she had a reason to yell. She was yelling because Imani C has 12?
Yep.
12 skulls, which means 12 crawlers. She's taken out 12 crawlers.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, I was a little bit freaked out. I understand Donut's freak out.
All right. And then all the people are at Waffle House, which is one of the safe houses, popping off at 3 a.m., which is about normal for a Waffle House. Yeah.
Would you stay there?
Oh, God, yeah.
You'd stay on level 1 instead of going down?
I was talking about Waffle House.
Oh, Waffle House. Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's talk about another unfortunate thing. Apparently the dungeon healed everyone, but not their mental capacity. So physically, they're okay.
Yeah.
But mentally, they're still incapable. So if they were mentally deteriorated before, they're still mentally deteriorated after. Just real quick, tiny tinfoil hat. Why would the game choose these people?
I have no idea.
Tinfoil hat. Oh, that's so weird. All right, let's talk about the quote of the chapter from Miss Donut. And he tells her to stop yelling in all caps. And she says, I am yelling, Carl, which is one of her famous lines from the book. I am yelling, Carl. I think that might be the desk pad that I get. I am yelling, Carl, because she's in front of a keypad. And I think she's even got like a little mouthpiece. It looks like she's typing. I love that one. All right. And for the funniest moment. All right. You want to give us character updates?
Yeah, just real quick. Brandon Ann, level 2, 1 bronze star, comically big hammer. Think Mario's hammer and Donkey Kong. Chris Andrews, 2, level 6, no weapons, basically a silent Bob.
Then we got Yolanda Martinez, number 13. She is a level 5 and she carries a bow. Imani C, which we talked about, she has a bronze star and 12 skulls, and she's a level 10 and has a very long sword.
And then Agatha, level 2, started the fire, turned the stairs into a ramp, and she is super sus.
Extremely sus. Anything to explain?
Nope.
So. All right. You ready to turn the page?
Yep, let's do it.
About this plan. Chapter 23. Carl didn't actually have a plan to take on the boss.
As he and the jingling donut headed out, they stopped at each sign they passed and defaced or changed them to lead any would-be assholes away from the group. Can't be too careful with so few people to defend everyone.
They made a detour to where the group had originally entered the dungeon, rolling D1 on pants yet again. Turns out the rats tore through everything that was left behind and were markedly bigger now.
Entering a new quadrant, they got a new type of mob, 3-foot-tall humanoid kangaroo lizards, troglodyte pygmies to be exact, which sounds cute and harmless, but they are mean and venomous.
Can I pet that dog? They spent the next several hours grinding XP from trog bashers and virtuosos and working on their teamwork. They were well on their way to level 9, noting the XP demands took a significant leap after level 8 when they came across the troglodyte boss room.
Guessing that the boss would probably be a level 7 or 8 based on the level 4 mobs outside, they decided to step into fitness, weights, gains, but not before Carl lit up his second to last cigarette.
All right.
It's time for... All
right, let's talk about leaving all of those people there and why they decided to deface those signs.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of unattended XP, especially if Frank, Q, and Maggie are somehow tracking them or following them. That's a lot of unattended XP. Because that's how Imani got her XP, was from an incident where she had to help some people pass over.
Yeah. You just can't play it safe. They feel like they have enough to keep everyone safe now. They don't need any more.
And they can't risk it with the people that are, know people that are out there.
Yeah.
And they said that there was somebody taking out people. It looked like strategic. What is that about?
Oh, like picking them off. That's right. Yeah. I have no idea what that is.
That's scary.
Yeah.
All right. So Donut believed the propaganda from the television, but now she doesn't believe that bad people would come take out the elderly to get the easy XP. So why does she all of a sudden have a...
Because that's how propaganda works. So she's believing what she is being told to believe at this point. She has no reason not to believe. It's life experience too. Like, she's a cat, so she's going to be more trusting with people because people have always treated her nice.
What if she thinks like all of the TV shows that she watched with Carl were real?
It's possible because, again, she's a house cat.
She could very well believe that.
Yeah.
She would have no point of reference other than what she saw on television. But I will note that, yes, she seemed okay with taking out the goblins. This thought didn't even cross her mind.
Yeah.
So there's clearly a distinction for her. So that's good. That's good on the psychosociopathy
Yes.
chart. Okay. All right. Let's talk about Carl talking to Donut about her claws. She's twice as strong.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to get her hands dirty. Because
and she's teeny tiny.
That has nothing to do with that. She's been pampered her whole life. If you take a street cat with you, a street cat's going to claw some shit up.
You are not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, it'd be totally different if you had a tomcat.
Our cat would probably tear some shit up. Gandalf.
Yeah.
Merlin would do what Donut's doing.
You are totally right. He would be perched up on the shoulder like, don't touch me.
It makes sense because Merlin, the wizard, was more of a caster. Gandalf got his hands dirty, like the Gandalf. He had heaps sword.
Oh, yeah. He was all up in the thick of it.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't fuck around.
Boy, we named our cats appropriately, didn't we?
Exactly.
All right. You want to talk about the last point?
they're finally learning how to work as a team, work very well, learn each other's strengths and their weaknesses. But again, Carl is trying to get her to use one of her strengths, which is going to happen, obviously.
Yeah, I feel like that was foreshadowing for sure.
Yeah, but it's not too full hat. That's just a small foreshadowing.
They're learning how to communicate as well. And I think that gets us into the quote of the chapter, which was about Donut splatting a level 2 troglodyte with a level 6 magic missile when a level, 2, 3 would have done it just as well.
Oh, yeah, I would have easily splattered it.
If it's about to bite my face off, it's getting a 6, which I can't blame her for that.
Gotta make sure it's dead.
Yeah, it's coming to bite your face off. There's no time to think about it. Give it max power. Yeah. I assume that's a max power button.
Yeah.
And the reason, again, for her not fighting, which is our funniest moment, fighting with one's claws is just so inelegant. It's not ladylike. But shooting lasers out of her eyes is, so she doesn't get blood on her like a common house cat.
Exactly. Yeah, she's very pampered.
I love her to pieces.
All right, All right, choosing how many mana points to put into a spell and how powerful that makes it, how many you can cast at that level, etc. So basically, D&D is a good example. If you have a level 2 spell, you can make it a level 3, level 4, level 5, level 6, and it makes it more powerful. For instance, if I have I'll just keep it simple, a level 1 that does 1d6 damage, level 2, I get 2d6, level 3, I get 3d6, and so on and so forth. So it just makes things more powerful.
Okay.
So it just stacks. Level
so
up.
it stacks. Yeah. Okay. Can you cast multiple at a lower level or one at a high level? Is that how that works?
It costs more just like it does here. So if my 1 level spell only costs 2 mana points, for every level, it would cost 2 more. So for instance, if I'm casting a level 2, it would cost 4 mana points.
Okay.
So I could cast it again if I have 8 mana points total. So I could cast 2 level 2s or 4 level 1s.
Could you cast 1 level?
Or 1 level. If you're that level, yes. If you're at the level where it takes, so be level 4, if it takes 8 mana points, you could cast 1 giant fucking missile. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. All right. I like that. All right. Let's talk about going up in levels. The XP required to level up goes up usually gradually, and it sounds like you get a significant jump in range in this game.
Yes. So just like with a lot of XP games that are going away because people hate doing fucking math, but D&D, again, great example, was a normal XP game, just like with WoW, but each boss or whatever had a certain amount of XP that it gave you and things like that.
And then to be able to go up to the next level, you had to get 100 million more XP just to, is it just to increase game time? Is that the point of it?
No, it's not to increase game time. It's because if you think about, I'm trying to think of a good example, it's going to be harder. It's going to take you longer. It's going to take you more hours to master it.
You're going to have to do more research.
Exactly. There you go. Yeah, it just takes more time and effort to become smarter and better and stronger, because if you're just doing, 1,000 XP every single level is cakewalk.
So essentially practice makes perfect.
Yeah, because then I could just sit here and kill rats all fucking day and just gain 1 million goddamn levels. But if I go up to level 3 and it went from 1,000 XP to 10,000 XP, these rats don't mean shit now. I got to go find better creatures.
Yes.
And things like that.
So it's also to help progress the game along.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Let's talk about mobs. We got 4 new things to talk about this time.
Yeah, we're just going to blow through them. So first one are the rats. They're just scavengers. They get bigger with each scavenge. So they're just like your very basic mobs that you just kill for quick XP.
Are they going to level up with that as well? As they're getting bigger, are they going
I think they do.
Gross. Okay. All right, next we got the troglodyte pygmies. They are level 2s with toddler level intelligence. They're harmless, except they're venomous and fast. So good luck.
Yep. And then you got the bashers, which are level 3. They're twice as big, almost human size, no special ability, and almost regular legs.
It's very random. All right. And then we have the troglodyte virtuosos. They are level 4s, and they have a long tongue attack that inflicts poison.
Yep.
Thank goodness for that shirt again.
All right.
Okay. You ready to turn the page?
Let's do it.
Worth the squeeze? Chapter 24.
The Juicer, Neighborhood Boss, Level 9.
Donna and Carl stepped into a world of pain and Scott's last place of employment, a smelly, sweaty gym. Their opponent, a Manosphere gym bro on steroids. Literally. He was a humanoid lizard creature that looked like he took all the Tren and SARMs in the world.
That's steroids for people not in that world.
Basically a real-life He-Man action figure.
Yeah, the Juicer would definitely have a podcast and hype up incels. He does throw flaming weights, so that's actually pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah. First half of the battle went pretty good. Carl used Scroll of Fog, which blinded Bro, and their plan was for Carl to take out the troglodytes while Donut focused on Swolezilla.
Now, this wasn't an easy fight. Even a 250-pound loaded barbell to the head barely rocked Lizard Bro. At one point, it was almost game over for Carl, and Princess Donut came to the rescue. But not with magic missiles, with her own strength and claws.
Now, Donut almost lost her life for her heroic act. Having a low constitution sucks for healing, but eventually the healing began, and she was back to her sassy self, playing up her heroics and injuries.
The boss is dead. It's time to loot.
And it's time for... All right, here we go. So are they taking people and turning them into extreme versions of earthly stereotypes?
That's exactly what that sounds like. That sounds like a dude, gym bro,
The
incel.
hoarder. Yep.
Oh my gosh.
But even the mobs, like the llamas selling meth, and they're also stereotypical.
The goblins.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So did they know that this was going to be a boss battle walking in?
I think so. I think they knew because it was a different area. I think they knew it was a boss.
Okay. So they knew.
Because they were like walking up to all of it, knowing that these were level 2s and 3s out here.
Okay. Because I can't remember off the top of my head if they knew, like, if they could see on their map that this was boss. This was a neighborhood boss.
Yes, I think.
Okay. They just didn't know what kind of they were going to have to fight.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about Carl swinging 250 pounds like a bat.
Badass.
Extremely, extremely badass.
So
Just like nothing.
for those of
Nobody's
you
business.
not in the gym business, this is absolutely ridiculous. First of all, the bar is 45 pounds. So the bar that people bench press with is 45 pounds. Swinging that is impressive because, like, you think about also the ratio too, because the weights, this distribution. So you want it closer if you're going to swing it. So like a 45-pound dumbbell, you can swing a lot easier than a barbell. So you have that. And then on one end only, it was loaded with plates. So if it's a 45-pound dumbbell, that means it was loaded with 215 pounds of plates on one side. And he's swinging it like a fucking bat. That's ridiculous.
That's some insane strength he's got going on.
Dude, I can't wait to see that on the show.
I wonder if he only did that to keep him at distance because of the virtuosos with the tongue. Maybe he doesn't know if this guy has a tongue attack or something.
Probably.
Because I don't think he didn't do any kind of tongue attack the whole time. But why didn't he just punch him? Isn't his whole thing like punching? Or maybe he didn't want to get close.
Yeah. And also the plan was he was to take out the troglodytes first while Donut was attacking him with the magic missile.
That's right. Boom,
Yeah.
boom. Okay.
Because he could go around and just punch the troglodytes easy without her like having to, she wasn't getting her hands dirty and shit. So he was like, all right, let me knock these fuckers out. And then they can tag team Bro.
And luckily they had the fog going on with his scroll.
Yeah,
So
but the problem is his fog didn't last long because of his level.
yeah. Let's talk about Donut finally getting her hands dirty.
Yeah, we called that.
And her fur.
Yes. Oh, yeah, she got soaked in blood.
Poor thing. Like Carrie. Straight up Carrie. Is what it sounds like.
And then her low constitution showed up really bad. She almost died because of this. She's very squishy, as they say in the video gaming world.
She's extremely squishy. She needs some armor or something. And she also has a longer cooldown for potions. Thank goodness he tested that out.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
because he could have killed her. Yep. And the good thing is this just shows that Carl is still her family. She's still going to protect family no matter what. So that was very nice. Carl's going to look at her a lot differently now. Okay, I can trust her fully now with my life.
She has his back.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. But of course, as soon as she wakes up, she had to be sassy as fuck and play it off.
Oh, it's so cool. The light of the end. I'm moving towards it.
So another interesting thing is Heal Critter does not work on her because she is not technically a critter or a pet. She is a crawler now.
Do you think it would have worked if she was a pet, or is critter different than pet?
Words do matter, but I don't know.
Because they're different in WoW. Critter is different, I think. Critter is different than pet, which is different than Yeah.
That's a good call. I don't know. We'll have to find out, hopefully.
Because we also have minions.
Yeah.
There's lots of... Okay.
Yeah. All right. Quote of the chapter.
Oh, you got to do this one.
Yeah. I'm proud of you, bro. You fought through the pain. And that was after they killed him. That was his last words that he was said. So that was funny.
You got to talk about the funniest.
Oh, yeah. So during the fight when he was fighting the virtuosos, so you get the little lizard people. So he has one, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'll try to explain it for everyone that's not watching, attached to his hand. And then he had to beat that fucker off. And then another one came. So he started beating the shit out of the troglodyte with the one attached and smushed them both together. It was awesome.
I know you all just heard I know you all just heard him say that.
What?
I know you did.
Smushed? What?
I can't wait till you go to edit this.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
What is it? Oh, no.
Anyways, that'll be a clip. Let's talk about how he got the troglodyte's head on his arm to begin with. He grabbed his tongue, and the virtuoso tried to retract his tongue, but ended up essentially dragging himself across the room to attach himself onto Carl's arm.
Yeah, it looked like you on a Friday night.
I can't wait.
Yeah. All right. On to... So we just got one. We got cooldown timers.
Ooh, yes. All right. Cooldown timers, spells, potions,
attacks. WoW, which pissed me off. I hate cooldowns. I like instant attacks.
So it's essentially a countdown. Yeah. It's a timer.
You gotta wait for some shit to count down 3, 2, 1, then you can do the thing. Once one is gone, you can do the thing.
Sometimes it's hours. Sometimes it's a day. I have an alchemy thing that's a 24-hour thing.
Yep.
So yeah, just cooldown timers.
Yeah. And then like with some items, they're not the same for each player. Some items are the same universally. So it just depends again.
And in this case, it was Carl was able to take potions a lot more quickly than she was. So it's his cooldown timers are different than hers. I don't think that's the same in WoW. I think at least for potions.
For attacks, that's
attacks is different.
Each.
Yes. Attacks is totally different. But for potions, I think it's
universal. Yeah.
Potions. And WoW. Okay.
All right. And then we're just going to talk about the mob real quick, which is the boss, the juicer. He was a level 9 neighborhood boss, basically a roided out lizard man. Again, think the old He-Man action figures with a lizard head and gym shorts, probably Gymshark shorts and shit like that.
The Dungeon Crawler Carl wiki page has a great image of the juicer. Love that.
I hope they do put him in Gymshark. That'd be so funny. All right. That is it for this one.
Are you ready to turn the page?
Let's do it. Riddle me this, Morty. Chapter 25. When you go for answers and now have to start doing detective work.
After her dramatic resurrection, they snagged the neighborhood map and all the gym equipment they could find. All of it, including a broken door. Hey, why not? You never know what you may need in the next battle.
I totally would if my inventory was unlimited. I would loot everything. I do loot everything.
I do too. Yeah. Next up, Training Guild. They had both hit level 9 and had lots of loot to open and some questions to pepper their pal Morty with.
Unfortunately for them, Morty has to follow a strict set of rules to include no pre-fight information. That would be cheating. And it sounds like you definitely don't want to be caught cheating.
It sounded hella ominous. All right. What he can do, though, is a post-fight analysis and tell them where they can improve. He does drop that it would be madness to face that level of boss with only 6 crawlers. And that most creatures have weaknesses. You just have to look for the clues, Sherlock.
Princess Donut finally got her first piece of armor and informs everyone that not only will she be remaining God's perfect creature, the cat, she is now insisting that Carl also become a cat of some other species.
Carl busts open his loot, snagging some sweet but fragile ninja stars and a deadly masturbation gauntlet that finally covered his poor punching hand.
As his final, here, take this nugget of info with you, Morty drops some cryptic shit about there not being real gods in the game, and that in lower levels, some pay for the privilege.
That sounds like some fucking billionaires to me.
Yep. All right. So real quick, it's time for, all right, Carl calling out what they had done to the juicer, like he was being controlled by AI, but consciousness is still in there somewhere. So they are being controlled.
That's what it sounds like. He said it seemed like he was being controlled by AI, but there was consciousness there, like with the hoarder. Like she was saying those things like her consciousness was fighting the AI maybe, or the AI hadn't taken complete control. Is that what he was getting at?
That's what it sounds like.
I think that's what Carl was alluding to. I think that's what he's suggesting.
Instead of creating fake bosses, they're using real people or species and turning them into these creatures, and then having an AI control them like you would a boss in a video game. But these people are so conscious, which is why that lady was saying, help me and all that shit as the hoarder. Gross. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
All right. So another nugget from Morty.
Reminding Carl that, once again, your fists are powerful. If the weapon isn't enchanted, don't bother using it. Use your fist instead.
So I think this is a little piece of nugget information that Morty's trying to nudge him a certain direction.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. I think he's trying to say that, dude, you're going to have to be a fisticuffs class. You're going to have to use your punching ability and kicking ability and stomping ability. Like, you're going to have to choose probably like a monk class or something. Yeah.
That makes sense.
I mean, it's smart. Morty's just trying to help. He's a tutorial guild guide. He's just trying to be like, okay, this is what you have as your skill set and all this stuff. You should probably look at doing this, but you can't
overtly say it.
Yeah. He can secretly say things. Yeah.
Hint, nudge. Get it yet?
This is a big chapter. Morty drops a lot of info. Another big thing is with the bosses, there are weaknesses and clues on how to exploit them.
Okay. So for the hoarder, what they didn't know is if they had killed one of the, what were they? Scatterers?
The scatterers in her mouth, it would have stopped all the scatterers. She would explode it.
And she would, yeah. That's good. You're going to have to really think outside the box.
Not really, because again, the roided guy, his muscles are going to be super tight, but then you have just a simple vein. His veins are going to be huge.
Did they mention something about his veins?
Well, when she tore out that fucking one.
I remember that.
Yeah, that's what put him down, right?
The llama was the throat punch to the neck. To the neck, so that it exploded inside.
Yeah. So everyone has a weakness.
And it seems to be on their person.
But it seems that's just normal in video games. Especially Mega Man, all the Mega Man games, everyone had a weak, when you collected all the different Mega Man powers from all the different, you never played Mega Man? Stop.
I was like,
oh shit. We gotta get you playing Mega Man, sweetheart. We got the old school Mega Man too.
Oh, yeah, I was like, I don't
oh my God, dude, it's shit.
I don't even know what it's about.
What?
I've just seen the characters on the Mario Smash Brothers. I have no idea.
Dude, Mega Man was the greatest, especially Mega Man 2. Mega Man 2 is one of the greatest video games of all time.
What kind of game is it?
Regular Nintendo. Basically, he just goes, so he's like a little robot and he shoots the little pellets and kills other little robots. And then there's 9 bosses. And then each one represents, one represents metal, one represents air, one represents something.
Okay.
And then you go and fight the metal guy. The metal guy is good at the metal power is good at beating the wood guy, and the wood guy's power is good at beating this. So that's why you have to collect all the different powers. Then you have the main boss at the end. That's all it was. But the characters were fun. The music was great. It was a great game.
And it was on the regular Nintendo?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's at least 15 Mega Man games and shit. There was a cartoon, all kinds of shit. Yeah, dude.
There's how many games?
A lot.
Oh my God. Listen, I wasn't allowed to.
Yeah, I know. Your fucking Seventh-day Adventist upbringing fucking destroyed your childhood. I feel so bad for you. Oh my God, dude.
Now I get to do it now.
We're fucking, when do you go to work?
Way to go.
All right, when you get off work, we're playing Mega Man tonight. God damn it.
All right, I'm excited.
Fucking never played Mega Man? That's so mind-blowing. Oh my God. I'm about to cut out a lot of this. I'm so mind-blown. We got so much more shit to talk about this chapter. All right, we're going to try to get through this. All right. So there's no real gods in this game. Or in real life, they can.
Yeah, just some who pay for the privilege.
So this sounds like everyone has heard of, maybe not have seen the movie Hostel. And then we found out this happened in real life in Bosnia, which is where this takes place. So I'm wondering if, again, they were trying to tell us something. This happened in the 90s, where billionaires paid to murder civilians.
Oh.
Now, the one in real life, they were sniping people who were running away. But the one in Hostel was more creative, where people would get kidnapped and then people would pay to torture in fucked up ways. But that's what this is. Basically, these billionaire aliens or probably quadrillionaire aliens are paying to murder species.
I feel like this is Zorro Ranch.
Yeah. Again, this is a lot deeper than people think. These books are a lot deeper than people think. He's
we're not even halfway through and he's called out so much wrong shit about the world, not just our government, but the world, shit like this.
The world as a whole.
Yeah. And he's just saying that this is just happening on a bigger scale, like a universal scale is what he's saying in this book.
Yeah. It's not just here. It's everywhere.
Yep.
Oh, all right. That was exciting.
Yeah. So another cool thing, fight notes. You love fight notes. Wow. You love your fight notes. Every time I die, she's like, you check your fight notes. I'm like,
why'd you die? What happened?
Yeah, check your fight notes. I don't even know how to look at my fight notes because they go so goddamn fast. I'm like, how do you just stop and look at your fight notes? I don't even have time, so I'm already dying again. All right. Anyway, so yeah. So Morty basically was able to look at their fight notes to tell them, give them pointers on how to improve and do things like that. So that's pretty cool.
Like, cool that you were able to swing that giant barbell.
Yeah.
You didn't need to, except to keep distance.
Yeah.
So use your fists. Unless it's enchanted, unless it's glowy, don't bother.
Yes. Now, the one thing he cannot do is, let's say they do find like a burrow boss, that he cannot tell them how to defeat that burrow boss because that's cheating.
Yes.
But after the fight, he could say, here's where you fucked up or here's where you did good, basically.
Thankfully, he was able to tell them, look for the clues, jackasses. All right. Oh, he also dropped party members with the highest intelligence should read scrolls to extend the duration timers.
That explained the fog.
So intelligence score is what extended the duration.
Yeah. And that's normal. And again, a lot of games, D&D, WoW and shit, the higher the intelligence, more powerful the spells can be. Same with wisdom. It usually depends on what your character's like base stat is. Because for you as a sorceress, you cast magic, but your base stat is charisma. So the higher your charisma, the more powerful your spell. So I guess he's saying, but for this game, all scrolls, the higher your intelligence, the longer it lasts.
The longer the duration at the very least. Saying that the power is any different.
Yeah, just the duration.
Just the duration.
Yeah.
Okay.
So duration of
good
spells, intelligence.
Okay, so Donut should have read those. So she should get any scrolls like that from now on.
Yep. And we already talked about her constitution last chapter. She cannot take as many potions, so she needs to up her constitution. Speaking of her, she did lose her shit from the loot boxes. She did get a spell book. She can't read it yet because her mana's too low, but it sounds badass. That's the one of the army, right? She gets like a little mini army. Is that the one?
That's the puddle jumper.
Oh, that's right. This is the puddle jumper. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's right. I got that mixed up. So this is the puddle jumper one. So this is almost like a teleport spell.
Yes. It is a mini teleport spell. And it sounds like once you get it up to level 15, it is essentially the teleport spell. What just happened? Are you okay? Do you need your hat?
I need my hat, but I don't want to fully go on because we're about to do this next. This is next.
Yeah.
But I'm even going to mention it so I don't forget it because it just hit me, right? Puddle jumper. What do you think of that's like jumping and hopping and
a rabbit, a cat, nimbly bimbly?
Like puddles. Like think of like
Frogger.
Puddle jumper. So Frogger, again, you're trying to cross things that are going like horizontal, right? And you're trying to go basically vertical and just not get ran over. What better spell to get across shit like that than puddle jumper?
But then he wouldn't need his Frogger skill.
You still might need it, and then maybe they're like, oh shit, you got a puddle jumper or some shit, or maybe they can only use it once, so powerful, or maybe they can't use it, it gets blocked. Something's gonna happen with puddle jumper and Frogger.
Puddle jumper is on a timer. I don't have the timer on here, but it is on a timer, so it has a significant 5-hour timer or something.
Does it say how expensive it is mono wise? I don't think it does.
Oh, I don't see that.
It might be expensive, and that's maybe why
they
can't use it a lot.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. But obviously, it'll probably be more powerful the higher level you go.
She also got a bracelet.
Yeah.
So her dexterity is now at 12.
Yeah, she's as nimbly as fuck now.
And she's all blinged out. I gotta
That's
get my
right.
bracelet, and I got to get my crupper. All right. She is still losing her shit at the crap ton of torches she's getting, though. Did you already say that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yep.
What they really need to do, though, is get a better way to heal each other. Because they don't have that. Does she need to hold on to all those spells?
No, she just needs need to find a way to boost her constitution. That's all they need to do. Which they will. They'll find ways to boost her constitution.
But they need to be able to heal each other, right? Like with some kind of healing spell?
Well, they each have a healing spell. That's a basic spell you come with. Everybody has it. No, it's her cooldowns that's fucking her. She needs a higher constitution.
So with a higher constitution, her cooldowns for taking potions will also lower? Okay. Okay. All right. That's good to know. Now I know.
Yep. All right. So quote of the chapter, we did touch on this. So there are no gods here, just those who pay for the privilege. We decided to highlight that because of how fucked up that is and the fact that it does happen. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So favorite achievement and power up.
Oh, I love this so much. The warning to remove the gauntlet before jerking off.
Yes. And I do have a gauntlet. I just forgot to put it on. It's supposed to be, it's like a little bracer here and then connects here and then it has spikes that pop out. And yeah, you don't want to.
Whoops.
Yeah, that ain't going to be good. All right. Now it's time for. All right. So we touched on the first one, higher intelligence, read scrolls. So the timer lasts longer. Higher intelligence, longer it lasts. So it is intelligence based.
That was extremely significant, though. It was what, 15 seconds versus a minute, 2 minutes?
Yes.
Something like that. Ridiculous. All right, let's talk about ranged damage dealer, which is what they are suggesting that Donut be.
Yes.
Usually magic casters.
Or hunters, archers.
Something standing way far back. So they're not in like range of anybody swinging their sword around or some swipes of claws.
And they usually wear very, like I said, cloth, light armor so they can move around because they need to be nimbly bimbly because some are healers. Some need to they need to move around the battlefield very quickly. So that's why they stand back because they don't need all that heavy stuff holding them down. Yes. So that is a ranged damage dealer versus a melee damage dealer, which is the exact opposite. So think paladins, Aragon, things like that from Lord of the Rings. So they're up in your fucking face fighting. Oh, there you go. What's his face? Gimli.
Yes.
So Gimli versus Legolas.
Yeah.
So Legolas is your range. Gimli would be your melee.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her and I do that a lot too. Like when you're warlock, she's ranged and I'm usually melee with my pally. All right. So that's it for this chapter. You ready to go on to tinfoil hat time?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. Tinfoil hat time. All right. So let's start with the first one. So they have a Desperado pass. What the hell is that? So gave them a tattoo with what, the little heart and the knife?
The knife and yeah.
It's a club.
What is the Desperado Club?
I wonder if it's a biker gang club. Was it like a trad tattoo? It sounds like a trad tattoo. That's
what I imagine in my head. We should probably look it up.
Desperado Club. So I'm wondering if, this is probably going to be a place with biker gang people.
Is it similar to the Goblin Pass? Is Desperado?
I'm sure it gets you something.
But a Desperado Club. So it's a club. It's different than the Goblin Pass.
But they have a tattoo. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure the Goblin Pass gave them a tattoo. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. They probably get something at the Desperado Club. Something's going to happen.
So is there a Goblin Club? That they can now go to?
This is probably just a Desperado Club.
Now they can't get the Vanquisher Pass, which is whatever that is.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Hats.
All right. What are the initials AMW on the ceiling of the safe room? And do you think that'll come up later?
Yes.
Okay.
Do I know what it is? No.
All right. Me neither.
Probably someone's initials.
AMW.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
got to be someone's.
Was it spray painted or carved? Either way.
I don't remember. But I feel like that was a very specific thing to put in there to it not come up again later.
Yeah.
Morty? Is the M for Morty?
No. Maybe?
No.
Or maybe it's 3 people? Maybe Morty and then 2 other people? Maybe it's like a team of people?
Maybe 3 people. Oh,
I don't know.
All right.
So we think that Frank and Maggie's story is bullshit, and that's an easy one.
Yeah.
And they are human traffickers. I think that they are going around murdering folk and not fighting bosses on purpose and looting.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're doing. Fuckers. Anyway. All right. So 3 strike roll. That's definitely going to come up again.
For sure. I think they're going to use that against someone.
Frank and Maggie.
You think they're going to use it against them again?
Yeah, I think that's how they're going to get safe again. Somehow they're going to know that Frank and Maggie have 2 strikes, and then they're going to
lure them into it or something?
Yeah.
Like somehow disguise a safe house? I don't know.
Because that would kill them, because that would send them to a mob nest.
With nothing.
I think that's going to be a way that they kill Frank, Hugh, and Maggie.
Or someone. They're going to do that.
The 3 strike roll to send them to a fucking mob nest. Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like Frank and Maggie would have gotten the information when they were paused for that 100 seconds. So they're probably not going to do it again.
I don't think they give 2 fucks about the rules. They just want to murder. They are ICE agents after all.
That's true. You might be right about that.
Yeah.
All right. Do you think that mobs entering the safe rooms, if the door is left open, will be used later on?
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think they're going to use that against, like, in conjunction?
They're going to use it against some very powerful mob that they can't face because it teleports the mob right away. So it's going to be a way to save their own asses. Some mob is going to follow them in with the door open.
Combine that with the 3 fights in the safe room.
I don't think that they teleport the mobs and the players to the same place, but then they could change the rules and do whatever the fuck they want.
But what if they like dragged the mob in, the people shot at the mob, not thinking I'm in the safe room.
That's different, though. I think it's violence against each other. I think if a mob like gets in until it disappears, you can try to save your own life. I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. All right.
Yeah. Again, a little bit, just real quick on Frank and Maggie. We think that they're going to be a rival later in the book or books.
We're going to see him again.
Yeah, we'll see him again. All right. So biggest one, Agatha is sus as fuck. She is a goddamn plant for sure.
Somehow, some way.
This definitely, this is boner-fied.
Oh,
fucking. We got a boner-fied one because this is 100% she is part of the grand master plan.
I'll boner-fy mine.
I'm not saying that she's evil. I'm saying that she is being used. She knows a lot more.
But why did they choose a retirement home? Like, why this?
Ratings.
And why
see an entire retirement home of old people get blown up or some shit is ratings, probably.
Ew.
Hey, people like fucking weird. The goblin babies being blown up. Fucking Donut thought that was going to work.
Yeah.
And people are weird, man. But again, she definitely knows something. She pulled the fire alarm. She's the one who started the stairs going down to the dungeon. She hasn't gone to the tutorial guild. She only has her shopping cart, so she has no inventory. So all she has is what's in the fucking shopping cart, but she is level 2 somehow. They don't know how.
I don't think we know that.
Yeah, they know she's level 2. They were able to see her that she's level 2. Yeah, so we know what levels they are. Yeah.
But why does her cart turn the steps into a
saying.
ramp? Would anyone's rolling, if somebody had gone up to it with a wheelchair, would it have turned into a ramp? Or is it just because
that's why I'm saying she's a plant, because I guarantee you one of them old fuckers in their wheelchair would have started fucking Greg Abbotting their ass down there. It probably would have turned into a ramp. But no one was going because they're like, fucking stairs, scary. And then she was like, God damn it, and took her cart and oh, look, a ramp. Telling you, she's a plant.
Yeah. Let's talk about the dungeon and those stairs or the ramp again. Why did it stop letting them leave to get the old people, Brandon and Chris?
Quota. They met their quota.
There was only a certain number of crawlers.
They probably,
or they only wanted a certain number of retirement.
Because what was they started with? 10 million? So that was probably their quota. 10 million start. Once they got the 10 million, that was it. That's my guess.
All right.
All right. And then another big thing, they've been getting picked off by something.
One by one. Hunting them one by one.
It's not the big ball in the thing because that can't get out, right? So, yeah, something.
Something or someone. It could be another crawler.
Could be.
Something or
could be Agatha. Agatha all along. Wait a minute. A big tinfoil hat. This is like way the fuck out there. This is
we need to grow your hat.
Like in a whole other universe tinfoil hat. But hear me out. This is written 2020, right? Yeah. So around the time WandaVision was out, right? Agatha the witch, Agatha all along, Agatha all along. I'm not saying he stole. I'm saying like he probably just got the inspiration. Was like, fucking Agatha. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe I'm just like really grasping there, like hardcore. Grasping. Yeah. All right.
So we talked about the rats picking through the bodies, and now they're bigger. Do they need to discard of any remains to keep the rats from getting bigger? Are the rats disposing of all of? They're the scavengers.
They're the cleanup.
Are they disposing
They're the
of
cleanup crew? They're the janitors of the game. That way the bodies don't fester.
So are they just getting exponentially more and more powerful?
It's a weird thing. Yeah. So it's hard to describe it. Yeah. They're cleaning up. It's a way for the developers to clean up everything, right? But also to create mobs and have them get killed as well, but also get more powerful as they eat. So it gives them a reason to eat because then they get more powerful, but then it gives the crawlers reason to kill them because they get more XP as they get more. That's a whole fucking, it's so circular.
Oh, God.
Yeah. It's a Mobius strip, if you will.
Don't you bring up Mobius again?
Speaking of things we can't explain, who the fuck is Ferdinand?
Yeah, who is Ferdinand?
He's not a bull. He's a cat.
Got to be a cat.
Yeah.
Ferdinand.
I think that's her boyfriend.
Do you think it's another show cat?
That's her lover.
Do you think it's another show cat?
Dude, it's going to be like something like Spanish. She's going to have a Spanish accent when we finally meet Ferdinand. What if Ferdinand's live?
What if Ferdinand's the golden retriever?
I don't think she's fucking with a golden retriever. She's a cat.
But she's so adamant about hating golden retrievers, hating that.
I thought it was Cocker Spaniels.
Oh, Cocker Spaniel? Maybe Ferdinand's the Cocker Spaniel.
No, I think she really fucking hates Cocker Spaniel. I think she had a thing with Cocker Spaniels. Okay. Yeah. Right. Remember she had an incident with Cocker Spaniel.
Who is Ferdinand?
Ferdinand's her lover. It's her Spanish lover. Her Spanish cat lover. I guarantee
God.
it would, anyone plays Ferdinand, it's going to be Antonio Banderas. That's all I can think about now is Puss in Boots. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
That's who
I was like,
Ferdinand is?
oh, wait, this already happened. There was already a cat where Antonio Banderas fucking Puss in Boots. Yeah. There you go. Ferdinand.
I could see her being into that.
That's what I'm saying. Dude, he's a swashbuckler and shit. Maybe he just changed his name. Maybe that's his real name. And we've been calling him Puss in Boots this whole time. And he's, nah, bitch, this is fucking Ferdinand. We're like, oh shit.
Really wish they'd quit calling me this.
Yeah. And then Donut's been trying to keep it a secret because he's actually Puss in Boots. There, dude.
I'm sorry.
Ferdinand is Puss in Boots. Anywho,
the juicer was a new boss even to Morty, which is another point for Carl calling out what they had done, like he was being controlled by AI, but the consciousness was still in there, same as the Hoarder.
So like I said in an earlier chapter, I think that they are creating these based off of Earth stereotypes for viewers for shits and giggles and laughs, because if it's a caricature, you don't feel bad if it dies, right? Because it's just, oh, it's this absolute ridiculous fucking thing.
Like the 15-foot tall Hoarder woman.
Or if it was just like a regular gym dude, like you would actually feel bad because
it would at least cause you to hesitate.
Yeah, this is just an extreme version. Granted, there really are fucking I worked at a fucking gym. There are people who fucking are idiots like this, but yeah, they're doing this on purpose for ratings and shit like that, for sure, I think.
They did a whole bunch of research for years and years, so they've pulled all of this speech from all over the internet, and now they're using it through that AI into their consciousness. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yep. All right. So the Groll thing.
So Groll isn't a real god. There are no real gods in the game, only those who pay for the privilege. We talked about it being similar to Hostile. Do you think that Carl will accidentally hit that 1.5% chance of transfiguring the target into Groll himself? That has to come up.
Probably.
That's going to be so entertaining.
It's just like the magic beans. Basically, the gauntlets are basically the magic beans that I have in D&D.
The gauntlets are?
Because you never know what's going to happen when you use them, is what it's saying, isn't it?
Is that from the gauntlet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thought so.
Okay, that makes sense. The gauntlet.
Yeah.
But that's only for creatures who worship Gruul. And those are the horse type creatures. So don't punch any horse type creatures with your gauntlet.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I think he's going to on accident. Yeah. And definitely going to hit that one because that'll be entertaining as shit.
Oh, God, yeah.
Will that be in the lower levels and it be a billionaire, though? Because that sounds like fun. I'd like to punch a billionaire.
Yeah.
There are no ethical billionaires. All right. Chapter 25. Sorry, I didn't say that. All right. Let's talk about the next one.
Yeah, most of the creatures having a weakness. There's always clues. We talked about that already. So, yeah. That's really a tinfoil hat. That's more of a... That's obvious because every boss has that.
Are we going to, do you think we had clues leading up to them in the book?
Maybe.
Or maybe?
Yeah. That's what these RPGs are for. You're playing the video game with them. Like, we're also thinking about, okay, he has all this in his inventory. How else can he use this? Because he even mentions, oh, I got this workbench table. Okay, how's he going to use this engineering workbench table? What's he going to do with it? So we're playing the video game with him. That's the fun of it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
All right, then our last one. This is obviously a sad tinfoil hat, but I don't think the old people are going to make it. Obviously, they're all level 1 and still.
They're all still level 1. They're the 4 people, now 6, are trying to escort them
to level 3.
So they've got to go level 2 and then level 3.
But I'm hoping a class or race will change their...
Will make them helpful.
But I think if you're old, man.
If it healed your physical ailments, which it sounds like it,
but it's not all your physical ailments. It's not like degenerative. Like my arthritis, I don't think would be healed if I had something stupid.
An abrasion, a scratch.
Yeah,
those would be healed
exactly.
If you had a broken arm, that would
I don't
probably
think it's anything like
healed.
chronic, like asthma. They might heal that. I don't know. But I think you keep diabetes, right? You have diabetes. Do they heal your diabetes?
I don't know.
Do they just pick and choose? Obviously, they don't.
What all are they healing?
Obviously, they don't de-age you. That's the big one. So they're old no matter what.
That, and they're not going to cure any mental deficiencies, so any Alzheimer's or dementia or ADHD.
Yeah, but they could though. But why couldn't they? If they leveled up the old people, their strength, their intelligence, their dexterity goes up, right? So I would imagine if you get their strength and dexterity up high enough that they would be able to walk and do things despite age.
I would think.
Isn't that how it works in games?
They could make it if they got something useful.
That's what I'm saying. If you somehow, but if they're part of the group, how are they not leveling up? Because once Chris and all them kill Does in the XP, but it's about who, if they do damage and shit like that. Yeah.
And
there's a lot of people. So basically what they need to do, and this would take forever, it's too late now, there's not enough time, is they would need to find like the rats basically, and then let these fuckers like roll their wheelchairs over them and
that's
shit.
like the 15 people who were out there doing stuff. Clearly some people were doing things.
Yeah. It's just, that's why I think there might be some that make it, but not all of them. No.
And some of them aren't even going to try. They're going to hang out in the Waffle House till the end.
Yeah.
Right,
I mean, they know it's over. They know they're not going to make it. These old people aren't stupid. They've been around long enough. The Dimension ones might think they can make it. There might be some spry ones that are like, I can do this shit. But most of them are like, you know what? I've lived a good life. I'm partying at Waffle House now.
They might be having the best meal of their lives.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm good. You know what? Like,
yeah,
I haven't had a good meal in decades. Yeah. I'm going out.
They know they can't physically do this shit.
Yeah. All right. That was sad.
Yeah, that was a sad ending to our Tinfoil Hats about old people dying. Okay. All right. Way to end that week.
Yeah. Whoops. All right.
Okay. So real quick, like you said, we're going to be moving Nerds Explaining Nerd Things to a full segment right before Tinfoil Hat time.
So look forward to that next week.
Yay.
Are you ready to turn the page?
Let's do it. All right.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Booked for Two.
And don't forget to subscribe and leave a review to help other book lovers find the show.
Follow us on socials at Booked for Two Podcast for behind the scenes content, updates, and sneak peeks. And don't forget our random lives with random topics. We will try to announce our lives when our ADHD lets us remember.
Now, if we do end up remembering our lives on TikTok, we will answer your burning questions, react to your theories, and occasionally overshare our book-related emotional damage.
And if you want even more chaos, join our Discord. The link's in our bio. Come hang out, chat books, get early access to exclusive content.
And finally, don't forget new episodes drop every Wednesday morning. And if you have any comments or questions about the show, you can email us at bookedfor2podcast@gmail.com.
Until next time, keep turning the page.